She called me at 2:14 a.m., Mr. Harris. Her voice was young, careful, professional. But underneath it, there was something else. Anger. Yes, I said, sitting up in bed. My name is Lily. I'm your brother Mark's nurse. My heart dropped. Middle of the night. Hospital. Those words never mean anything good. Is he? He's alive, she said quickly. For now. But he doesn't have much time. And he just told me something you need to know before he dies. I swung my legs out of bed. What are you talking about? She paused, like she was choosing each word. He confessed, Mr. Harris, about your wife, about the affair, about the money, about the lies he told in court. And I recorded it. My mouth went dry. Wait, what? He asked me to call you, she said. But after what I heard, I'm not just calling to deliver a message. I'm calling because you've been living like a villain for 15 years. And you weren't the bad guy. He was. And she was. She took a breath. If you want justice, if you want revenge, I have what you need to ruin her, if you've ever been destroyed in court by lies. If your own family betrayed you. If you've spent years wondering if you're crazy, or if everyone else's this story is for you. And before we go any further, drop a comment. Would you use a dying man's confession to destroy your ex? Or would you let him go in peace? Because I didn't have that luxury. Not after what he did. Part 1. How she destroyed me. My name is Daniel Harris. I'm 53 years old. And 15 years ago, my wife and my brother took everything from me. Back then, I thought I was doing well. I owned a small construction company. Nothing fancy, but I had 15 guys on payroll, steady contracts, a house in the suburbs, 2 kids, and a wife I thought I could trust. Her name is Lavra, blonde, smart, charming, the kind of woman who could walk into a room and make everyone like her in 5 minutes. We'd been married 12 years when everything blew up. The fight started small. She saw I was never home, said I cared more about the business than the family, the usual script. Yeah, I worked too much, but I was building something for us. Then one night, she dropped the bomb. I want a divorce. I was stunned. There was no cheating, no abuse, no big blow-up. Just, I'm unhappy. I'm done. I thought we'd do the normal thing, lawyers, negotiations, maybe 50/50ths custody. Split the assets. Painful, but survivable. I had no idea what she was about to do. 2 weeks later, I got served with papers, restraining order, emergency custody, allegations of verbal physical abuse, claims that he controlled all the money and isolated her from family, every word a lie. She had screenshots, texts, emails, written logs of alleged outbursts. I looked at them and felt like I was losing my mind. Half were taken out of context. The other half were completely fabricated, sent from a spoofed number, edited, twisted. But the worst part wasn't what she said. It was who backed her up. My own brother, Mark, in his statement. He said he'd witnessed me being aggressive, that I'd put my hands on her, that she'd called him crying the night I threw a chair at the wall. Never happened. Not once. But in court, it wasn't my word against hers. It was my word against hers. And his. The judge looked at me like I was a monster. Even your own brother testifies against you, Mr. Harris. That speaks volumes. Lavra got the house. Full custody. Child support. Spousal support. My business accounts were frozen pending forensic review. Clients freaked out. Contracts dried up. The company I'd built over 15 years collapsed in 6 months. I went from provider to abusive ex-husband overnight. My kids stopped wanting to see me. Mom says you're dangerous. My son whispered once. He was 9. She says you might hurt us. I watched my brother stand next to Lavra outside the courthouse, hand on her back, comforting her. Like he was proud of what he'd done. I didn't know it then. But they were already sleeping together. Part 2, 15 years of silence after that. My life shrank. I rented a small apartment. Picked up whatever construction work I could under other people's companies. Paid my support on time. Kept my head down. Friends disappeared. Family took sides. Most believed her. She had the paperwork. I had a temper. Case closed. I started going to therapy. Not to fix abuse, because there was none but to survive the shame. The version of me she created in those court documents was a stranger, a monster. But if you hear a lie about yourself enough times, a part of you starts wondering if maybe they're right. Maybe I was too harsh. Maybe I raised my voice more than I remember. Maybe I was controlling and didn't see it. If you've ever been there, you know that feeling, the gaslighting doesn't stop when the relationship ends. It keeps playing in your head. I saw my kids less and less. Lavra moved them 2 hours away for better schools, then 4 hours away for a better job. By the time my son turned 18, he barely spoke to me. My daughter blocked my number. The last time I saw Mark was at our mother's funeral. He shook my hand, looked me in the eye like nothing ever happened. Stood next to Laura like they didn't destroy my life together. 6 months after that, they got married. Yeah, my ex-wife married my brother. I found out from a photo on Facebook. Them in wedding clothes. My kids in the bridal party, smiling. Everyone commenting, so happy you finally found real love. Lavra. Mark, you're such a great stepdad. And me, I was the villain in the story that made them look like heroes. Part 3. The midnight call 15 years after the divorce. The call came. Lily, 26. Nurse. Your brother's in the hospital. Stage 4. Liver and pancreatic. We're talking days, maybe weeks. I didn't know what to feel. Grief. Anger. Nothing. What does that have to do with me? I asked. She exhaled slowly. He's been talking a lot. End-of-life rambling. Most of it is the usual regrets, memories, nonsense. But tonight was different. What did he say? He started talking about you, she said. About your ex-wife. About the court case. My heart started pounding. He told me he lied. She continued. He said Lavra paid him. He said he slept with her while she was still married to you. He said he helped her fabricate evidence. And that she promised they'd be together and rich if he just said what needed to be said. My throat closed. He said, and I'm quoting, I destroyed my own brother in court so she'd choose me. She gave me 50 grand from the settlement to pay off my debts. Told me it was our startup money. I knew it was blood money. I did it anyway. The room spun. I have the recording. Lily said, audio, 27 minutes. It's very clear. Names, dates, details about how they staged scenes. Edited screenshots. Coached the kids. I sat there breathing like I'd run a marathon. Why did you record him? I managed. Because I'm not just a nurse, she said. I'm also not blind. I've seen too many women weaponize the system. And when a dying man starts confessing to perjury and conspiracy in a divorce case, that matters. She paused. And I'll be honest with you, Mr. Harris. I looked you up after he fell asleep. Court records, old articles, social media. Your ex's version of you is everywhere. But the man I saw in those files doesn't match the way he talks about you now, or the way he cries when he realizes what he did. My eyes burned. What do you want from me? I asked. She laughed softly. What I want? I want predators to stop hiding behind believe all slogans and fake victim stories. What I'm offering, a way to clear your name, and maybe burn hers down in the process. A beat of silence. I have his confession, she said again. Voice low, if you want it. Meet me tomorrow. And we'll plan how to ruin her. Part 4. Meeting the nurse we met in a coffee shop near the hospital. She walked in wearing dark jeans and a simple top. Hair pulled back. No heavy makeup. Hospital badge still clipped to her purse. Young, but with that tired look people get when they've seen too much. Mr. Harris? I stood. Daniel. Lily, she said, shaking my hand. Firm grip. No hesitation. We sat. She put her phone on the table between us. I'm not giving you empty drama, she said. I'm giving you evidence. She opened her voice memos. Tapchai menos 12 dividido por 23 menos 1 PM is Vrysky. Kamistebo. I loved her, you know. He wheezed. I loved Lavra. For years. Even when she was with Don. Especially when she was with Don. He coughed. Oxygen hissed in the background. She said he was abusive. He continued. She said he yelled, controlled the money, shoved her once. That's what she told me. I believed her. I wanted to believe her. Because if he was a monster, it meant I wasn't stealing my brother's wife. I was rescuing her. My stomach turned. She came to my place one night crying, he said. Said she was going to leave him. Said she needed help. That's when we first slept together. She was still married. Kids asleep at home. I knew it was wrong. Didn't care. I clenched my fists under the table. Lily watched my face carefully. She asked me to testify, Mark said. Said the judge would never give her full custody unless someone confirmed her story. Said all I had to do was tell the truth about his temper. But the truth wasn't enough. So we added things. He laughed weakly. It sounded like choking. We staged that hole in the drywall. He said, I punched it. Not Dawn. We took pictures. She cried in them. Sent them to her lawyer. My vision blurred. She wrote parts of my statement herself. He admitted. The stuff about him grabbing her arm, about him threatening to take the kids. I signed it. I told myself it was okay. That he deserved it for being cold to her, for working too much. A pause. She promised we'd start a new life with the money, he whispered. After the settlement, she gave me 50 grand, cash. Said it was to cover what I did for her. We put it toward my debt and a down payment on a house. He coughed hard. I ruined my own brother, he said finally. For a woman who still talks about him more than she talks to me, the recording clicked off. I hadn't realized I was crying until a tear hit my knuckles. I have more, Lily said softly. He talks about coaching the kids before supervised visits. Telling them what to say about you. How to describe you as scary without any actual incidents. He talks about the judge. About your lawyer. About moments you probably remember differently. I wiped my face. Why are you helping me? She leaned back. Because I'm tired of watching men get obliterated by lies they can't disprove. Because my dad went through something similar and nobody believed him until it was too late. And because your brother doesn't get to die with this secret and leave you carrying his sins. She met my eyes. And because, she added with a small, hard smile, your ex gives off the exact same vibe as the women who flirt with doctors in the hallway and treat nurses like waitresses. I don't like her. I laughed. It came out broken. What do we do? I asked. Her smile sharpened. We ruin her, she said. Properly. And we clear your name while we're at it. Part 5. The plan we couldn't just throw the recording online. That would make me look vindictive. Crazy. A bitter ex-husband weaponizing a dying man's last words. So we went strategic. Step 1. Secure the evidence. Lily backed up the audio to multiple encrypted drives. One with her. One with me. One with a lawyer she trusted. Step 2. Corroboration. Anyone can claim a confession. We needed people who'd seen cracks in the story. I reached out to my old employees. The ones who worked for me when Laura claimed I was screaming in the office and throwing tools at walls. 3 of them wrote statements saying they never saw anything like that. One admitted Laura had once pulled him aside and asked if he'd seen Don lose his temper, even just once, and seemed disappointed when he said no. Lily talked to the night nurse, who'd overheard part of Mark's rambling. She confirmed he'd mentioned lying in court and taking money. Step 3, legal. I took everything to a new attorney. Not the one from 15 years ago. Someone younger, hungrier, a woman. Actually, I needed the optics to be bulletproof. She listened, took notes, played the recording twice. This is big, she said. Perjury, fraud, conspiracy, and if your ex used this to gain financially, that's grounds to revisit the settlement. Can I clear my name? I asked. She nodded slowly. We can at least put a massive crack in the story she built. And if we do this right, she's the one who's going to look like the abuser. Step 4, timing. We waited until Mark died. He passed 3 weeks after the confession. Peacefully, they said. Lavra posted a long emotional tribute on Facebook. My husband, my rock, the only man who ever truly believed me. I almost threw up. 3 days after the funeral, my lawyer filed motions to reopen the old case based on new evidence, to vacate the restraining order, to review the financial settlement, and to initiate a criminal inquiry into possible perjury and fraud. We attached the recording under seal. And then we waited. Part 6. The confrontation Laura's lawyer called her. Told her what we'd filed. The next day, my phone rang. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail, then listened. Her voice. The woman who'd erased me. What are you doing, Don? He's dead. Let it go. Don't drag Mark's name through the mud to try and fix your image. Interesting choice of words for someone who hadn't heard the evidence. She showed up at my apartment 2 days later. First time I'd seen her in person in nearly a decade. She aged well. Gym body, salon hair, designer. Still playing the role. You're sick, she said without preamble. Using a dying man's delirium to attack me. Lily happened to be there. She'd come over to go through timelines with me. Laura's eyes flicked to her, took in the age, the looks. The badge clipped to her scrubs. Who's this? She asked sharply. Lily smiled politely. I was your husband's nurse. Color drained from Laura's face. Oh, Lily added casually. We've met. He talked about you a lot. Especially at night. I almost laughed at the way Laura's jaw tightened. You think anyone's going to believe you? Lavra hissed. You're a nurse. He was delirious. Sedated. He was oriented, Lily said calmly. We checked his cognition hourly. I have documentation of that too, and even if he did say something, Lavra snapped. It's hearsay. Dead men's words. You can't prove anything. Lily tilted her head. Shawikan. He didn't just talk about feelings. He named dates, locations, specific things you did. Things we've already started matching with financial records and court transcripts. Laura looked at me. You really want to do this? She said, you want our kids to watch you attack their dead uncle? Their stepfather. You attacked me first, I said quietly. For 15 years. I'm not attacking him. I'm telling the truth about what you both did. What do you want? She asked finally. An admission, I said, in court. On record. That your abuse story was fabricated. That I never laid a hand on you. That you coached the kids. That you staged evidence. She laughed, sharp and humorless. Never going to happen. Then buckle up, Lily said softly. Because the court of public opinion loves a true crime story. Especially one with receipts. Part 7, falling apart we didn't have to go fully public. The threat was enough. The judge, reviewing our motions, ordered a preliminary hearing. Both sides present. Evidence under seal. Lovra showed up with her expensive lawyer. I showed up with mine. And Lily. The judge listened to the recording in chambers first. When he came back out, his face was stone. "Mrs. Carter," he said slowly, "this recording, if authentic, paints a very disturbing picture of what occurred 15 years ago." "It's not authentic," she said quickly. "He was sedated, delirious. We have hospital records showing he was fully oriented at the time. My lawyer said. We also have financial records matching exactly what he described: withdrawals, transfers, cash deposits." Laura's lawyer whispered in her ear. She shook her head violently. "We will be asking the district attorney to review this for possible criminal charges," the judge said. "Perjury, fraud, conspiracy. At a minimum, the original custody and support orders may be subject to modification. I watched Laura's mask crack for the first time in decades." "This is a witch hunt," she snapped. "He's a bitter ex-husband." He found some pretty nurse to go along with his story, and the judge slammed his gavel. "Careful, Mrs. Carter." She shut up. Outside the courtroom, Lily and I stood together as Laura stormed past us. "You'll regret this," she spat. "Both of you." Lily smiled, almost sweetly. "Already did." "That's why we're fixing it now." Part 8. Rewriting the story. It's not a movie. There was no instant happy ending. But things changed. The restraining order. Vacated. Officially. The record now shows, based on testimony later proven unreliable, my abuse history. Flagged, with an asterisk and a note about new evidence. Financially, the court couldn't rewind 15 years. But they could and did terminate any remaining obligations, and they referred the matter to the DA. As for my kids, my son called me, for the first time in years, not just to ask for money. "Is it true?" he asked. "About Mom, about Uncle Mark." "Yes," I said. "I wish it wasn't, but it is." Silence. "I remember him practicing lines with me," my son said quietly, "telling me what to say about you. I thought he was helping. You were a kid." I said, "None of this is your fault." He started coming around, slowly, awkwardly. "We're rebuilding something out of rubble." My daughter took longer. She'd been closer to Mark, to the story. It was Lily, of all people, who finally broke through. They met at the hospital when my daughter went to collect Mark's personal items. Lily talked to her not as Dad's ally, but as someone who'd listened to a dying man admit he'd ruined his brother. "Size," Lily told her. "He wasn't making it up to hurt your mom. He was trying to die with one less lie." Eventually, my daughter called me. "I don't know what to believe," she said. "Then don't believe anyone," I said. "Just get to know me yourself. Now, as I am. We're working on it." Part 9. The revenge. Did we ruin Lovra? Not Hollywood style. She's not in prison. Not yet, anyway. That's up to the DA, but her world is smaller now. People who used to gush over her survivor story suddenly have questions. Old friends of mine reached out, some to apologize, some to save face. Her carefully curated abused then rescued narrative has cracks big enough to drive a truck through. Employers Google her and see allegations of fraud in prior proceedings. The support check stopped. The moral high ground crumbled. And every time she tries to play the victim card now, there's a 27-minute recording in a court file with her new last name on it. She can't escape what she did. That's revenge enough for me. Part 10. The Real Win people ask if I forgave Mark. Truth, I don't know. Some days, yes. Some days, no. He died trying to make it right in the only way he could. He freed me with the same mouth he used to bury me. But the real hero in this story isn't him. It's the 26-year-old nurse who could have shrugged and said, "Not my problem," and didn't. Lily didn't just hand me a recording, she handed me my name back. We still talk, grab coffee. She checks on how the case is going, how things are with my kids. She jokes that she's my revenge consultant. Sometimes I catch her looking at me with something softer in her eyes. Sometimes I realize I'm looking back the same way. But that's another story. For now, this one is simple. If you've been destroyed by lies, if your own blood turned against you, if you've spent years carrying a sentence you never deserved, know this. Sometimes the truth shows up late, in scrubs, with a recorded confession, and a quiet, dangerous little sentence. I have his confession. Let's ruin her. Drop a comment if you've ever been falsely painted as the villain, and if you're still in the middle of it. Don't give up, because you never know who's listening, and who's willing to call you at 2:14 a.m. to say you were right. Let's fix this.